This season of Moments with Ndero podcast is powered by workspaceglobal.com, branding made easy. Hey, welcome to season 7 of Moments with Ndero podcast, a space where you will be inspired, encouraged, and uplifted. Wherever you're tuning in from, I truly appreciate you and thank you so much for staying on this journey with me. I mean, we are almost getting to the end of this season. Thank you so much once again. So today's guest is a seasoned professional with 5 years of experience in communication, marketing analytics, specializing in the edtech and nonprofit sectors. She holds a master's in global management from Thunderbird School of Global Management and an undergrad degree in business administration from Ashesi University in Ghana. Her career is marked by her creativity, strategic problem-solving abilities, and adeptness at navigating complex multicultural environments. In her previous roles, including program coordinator at Baobab, she has successfully managed alumni engagements, strategies, facilitated impactful online programs, conducted comprehensive audits, and collaborated with diverse multinational teams to drive meaningful outcomes. Welcome onto the show, Angella.
Thank you so much, Muthoni, for having me. I'm excited to be here.
So who is Angella?
That's a very heavy question. But in a nutshell, I'll probably start from where I come from. I'm Angela from Uganda, very proudly. So I am currently the edtech Innovation Fellow at Ed+, and that's at ASU, Arizona State University. But on a more personal level, I am someone who loves to read. I read a lot. I love to travel. I love to try new foods. So anywhere I go, I'm always looking for what do people eat over here. So yeah, that's a bit about me in addition to what you've shared in my bio.
I like that. A girl from Uganda. So how does a girl from Uganda go to Ghana, then find herself in Arizona?
Opportunities. When opportunity meets readiness, I think that's what happens. I moved to Ghana for the first time for school. I was at the time looking to pursue my undergraduate degree, and an opportunity availed itself for me to do that at Ashesi University in Ghana. I didn't know what it was. I just trusted the process that I was going to be in the right place. And indeed, it was a wholesome experience that lasted 4 years. And after that, I was still interested in pursuing more education. I think you see where this is going. I'm someone who loves to learn. So I wanted to pursue my graduate studies. And again, another opportunity availed itself to pursue that at Thunderbird in Arizona, which has been a wonderful experience. I just recently graduated in May.
Congratulations on the graduation.
Yeah.
So I like your passion for education and the desire to further your studies. So how have you ensured that you ignore the naysayers who are probably like, Angela, I mean, you've already gotten an undergrad. Why are you going for a master's? You're doing too much. How do you navigate those naysayers?
I'm glad you said that because they were there. When I did my undergrad, I mean, first it was you're going to a foreign land, you don't know who is there. And usually when people travel abroad to do their education, it's usually in the US, North America, or in the UK. So why are you going to a fellow African country to pursue your education? That was the first naysay that I had at the beginning. But of course, I wasn't going to let go of a full scholarship only because somebody said, you're going to a location you're not familiar with. So I beat that and went and pursued that. For my master's, I think it was a bit more around societal expectations, like you said, around go to school, but don't do it too much. Be successful, but not too much, especially as a woman. So I had those naysayers when I said I wanted to pursue my master's degree. I had family members really corner me into conversations around, no, this is becoming too much. You're becoming too much of a bookworm. You need to focus on living life, get married, have kids. If you go back to school, it's not going to happen soon. And we want something, we want grandkids, we want all those kinds of conversations you can expect from literally society. But I think my drive to move forward has been my mom, really so, because she's one person who values education to the best you can do. I mean, when I graduated from my undergrad, she told me, what next? Is there something more you can pursue? And the pandemic happened, and I kept pushing the idea of going back to school at the back burner. But my mom constantly reminded me, have you sent in an application today? Have you done this? And I would tell her, oh, rejections are coming in. And she'll be like, that's not the reason to stop. So I think I missed all the naysayers out there, family, friends, community. The most important person in my life, who is my mother, has the strongest voice. And that voice was for pursue what you want to do, pursue education. And that's exactly what I did. So I have a strong voice in my life, and also my drive and passion for this just doesn't sit back when people say whatever they have to say. I just keep moving forward.
And it's so important to have those voices in our lives, because I just remember how my mom used to tell me, Modoni, whatever you put your mind and heart to, you can do it, continue going, ignore what people are saying. And I think that's important in a space or world where pursuing our dreams is something that we should keep at the back burner and just conform with society, when in fact our dreams are valid and it's important that we truly pursue them. And as we
100%.
pursue our dreams, we constantly face different transitions in our lives. So for you, undergrad, then seeking these opportunities, then finding yourself doing your master's, how are you able to navigate that transition from now moving from Africa all the way to Arizona, away from home?
Right. So that transition was a very interesting one. I mean, first of all, when you get the acceptance to study at an American university, it's like my dreams have finally come true. So when I found out that I was coming to do my school here, I was very excited. And I mean, I wasn't ready for what was ahead of me, but nonetheless, I was just happy to be in a new place, which is what I love. And I think my travel to Ghana to pursue my undergrad degree really helped me navigate the transitions that were to happen for my graduate studies later on. So when I got here, Arizona is a really dry place. It's a desert. In the summer, it's usually around 115 degrees Fahrenheit. And in the Celsius, that's around in the 40s, 50s degrees Celsius. That's really extreme coming from a country that has 28 degrees Celsius max, like the highest, or 30 when it really just goes out of control. So moving to a new location was really the adjustment when it came to weather. But again, I think because I was so excited and I was mentally prepared to be in a new location, I kind of knew where I was going, though I didn't understand the extremities that would come with that. So one was the weather, and how I navigated that was really stay indoors. Stay indoors, don't go outside, just be inside, because being out there is not the healthiest thing for you. So I stay indoors a lot more than I typically would if I were back home. You know, back home, I'm usually moving up and about, going to friends' places, exploring things because the weather allows me to. But here it's not the case. So I had to really adjust and become a bit of an introvert than I typically am, which has been an interesting journey for sure. And I think that's been the biggest transition, learning to be with yourself, loving to be with yourself, because there's not community, there's no family here, there's not a lot of people that you know around. So you're just really with yourself a lot of times. So that was one transition for sure that I know was a bit of a challenge at the beginning, but over time, 2 years later, I've managed to just learn to do things that that bring me joy around me, like read, cook a good meal, bake, all the pastries that I used to buy at a kibanda somewhere in Uganda. I can't do that. So I've learned to make some of these things for myself. Do my hair. That's
Nice.
another one because it's so costly to go to a salon and spend $100, $120, $150 for the hair to last 1 week or 3 weeks. That doesn't make financial sense to me. Plus, I'm a student. I don't have that money. So I had to learn to do things for myself, and that included doing my hair. And all these things really allow me to enjoy my own company and be okay being in a foreign land, basically. And the other transition that I've really had to navigate is finding a job, which is the most difficult thing, if you asked me, especially in a foreign land where you know nobody and you're really relying on your capabilities to speak for you. And you hope that people see those capabilities and appreciate them for what they are. So when I graduated in May, I was very excited. Of course, graduation, who isn't? But the question ringing in my mind was, where is your next job coming from? Because you need to pay the bills. You need to grow in this life journey. You don't stop at school. So I had to prepare myself mentally, prepare myself physically, and that looks like looking at my resume, talking to people that are working at places that I'm interested in working, having informational interviews with professionals. That really helped me in navigating the whole journey of finding a job post-graduation, because it's not easy. And I realized that people that I talked to, people that I met over the last 2 years I was here, are the people that really helped me get where I am, find the position that I'm currently doing. And I mean, it doesn't hurt to put yourself out there, but a lot of people don't know you. A lot of people are also looking for the same jobs you're looking for. So having that extra voice that can speak to how great you are and the value you're bringing to the table was very instrumental in my search. So yeah, transitions have been incredibly a lot, but I can definitely speak to those too.
Thank you for sharing that. I know transitions are one of those moments where just like, can I just fast forward time, please? I don't want to be in this, limbo moment. I don't know what next. Just fast forward time. But one of the things that I'm learning also during transitions is when we are growing. We may not see the growth in that moment, but as an individual, you're growing and you're learning more about yourself and how you can navigate this world. So a younger person or your younger self is seated across you right now, and they're like, Angela, I've heard you, yes. Let me speak to person X, let me speak to person Z, but I just feel so hopeless. How would you encourage them?
Right. Yeah, in the moment, it doesn't make sense at all. Like, I remember when I was actually going through the whole job hunt process, it didn't make sense what anybody told me. I mean, those voices were very helpful in just reminding me how great I am and not to doubt myself in any way because they know me. But in the moment, it doesn't feel that way. It feels like you're really not getting anywhere. You're hitting a block every after rejection that you're receiving. It's a mad ride. But I would tell them that don't give up, don't lose hope. I think what I reminded myself at the end of the day was, what's the end goal in this? ultimately you want to find a job. And until you find a job, there's no time to wallow in the rejections and lose hope and give up, because guess what? There's no bread coming through from anyone. It is you. So I think it was a mix of different things, and I had moments where I felt like I'm not going anywhere. I'm closing my laptop. I'm going to sleep. And that happened. Oh, I'm gonna watch a movie. Oh, I'm just gonna just close this chapter for now. I had those moments. And then I had to come back again the following day, recoup again, and come back with a fresh perspective and start again, and maybe re-strategize. And maybe you're looking in the wrong places. Maybe you haven't considered certain spaces. Those moments of I'm giving up were moments for me to actually see what I'm doing wrong and where I can change. And I did that through talking to people when I was tired of looking at my computer and looking for jobs and not seeing anything and getting rejections. I decided, maybe I need to talk to someone, I started reaching out to people in my network. I'm not necessarily asking for a job, but just talking to them and understanding what their work is about, what industries are hiring, what skills are out there that I should be thinking about. And that kind of changed my perspective in terms of how I was searching. And it helped me in navigating those down moments when you feel like nothing is coming through and you're just giving up. And when I came back to the table again the following day, I'm like, okay, now after the conversation I had with this person X, I should probably look at these skills. Maybe I need to skill up somewhere and I don't have that. How do I present my resume in a way that best describes who I am? Maybe I wasn't doing that right at the time. So those moments are going to happen. But again, remind yourself the why of everything. And knowing me and a lot of people, you have to cater to your needs, and there's no relax. You can't relax for too long. You can't break down for too long. You're of course you're allowed to break down. You're allowed to feel frustrated and be disappointed, but not to the point where you're not doing anything at all. You have to come back to the drawing board and continue the search and re-strategize things until something comes up. That's when you can say, okay, now I'm done. But until then, until you have an offer signed, you cannot give up.
I appreciate that. Yeah, no giving up. Keep trying and keep trying until that offer letter is presented before you. So I see you're very passionate about edtech and the educational space. Tell us more about this passion. How did it arise within you? And what are your hopes for this space?
Right. So my passion for education really stems from my background. I come from a really large family, and what I've seen growing up has been, one, the females in my family haven't really gone to school that far. And whenever I went to my family village interactions, those family meetings that happen every year, I realized that the women were not really the decision makers at all because of the position they have in the family. For a few that went to school to a certain level, I could see the difference as well. So, and because it's a large family, I'm like, why are the majority not going to school? Why are the majority the way they are? And I realized really the only way out of my situation was to educate myself, honestly. And I mean, I wasn't given a silver spoon on the table when I woke up one morning as a born child. I had to work for everything. And I saw my mom go through so much for us growing up. And I knew the only way out is education. The only way out of this challenge of poverty, of the suffering, of the struggles of life is education. Because with education, you're empowered. Knowledge is power. The thing they say growing up, you don't fully understand it until you grow up and you realize, actually, knowledge is power, because no one can take that from you. So my passion stemmed from my background. And again, like I said earlier, my strongest voice, that is my mother. she didn't go to school so far, but I know in the years of my early childhood, she mentioned a lot that she wanted to be a nurse, and that dream didn't happen. So she wants us to be whoever we want to be with the resources she had. Education is the way out, my children. She used to say it. If you don't go to school, you are dead. You are finished. You're going to be stuck in this city. You're going to be stuck in this community, and you're not going to get the life that you really dream of. So I knew from a young age that my mom valued education as much as possible. So having that strong voice in your life, even if you're not interested in something, they definitely influence you in one way or another. The fact that she didn't go further is a reason for her to actually push us more. Yes. Because she understands the value of education, and she understands how different her life would have turned out if she had gone to school. So I really appreciate that mindset that she has, and that it's something that I continue to see her push through for my nephews, for my cousins, for people around me, that she continues to push for go to school, because for her, education is the answer to all your problems, in addition to God really be paving the path. But one of the paths that success is guaranteed is through education for her. So I appreciate that she has continued to push us, to push me to love education. And because of that, now I find myself very passionate about it. Yes. Because I've seen the impact it has had on me and those around me. I mean, I've had scholarships all through my education, at least from college. And I realized that all these opportunities that I've had is because somebody loves education and loves to continue pushing more and more people to school to change their livelihoods. So I was always surrounded by people that had similar backgrounds as me, academically talented, but financially incapable. So, and I've seen how our lives have turned out after having these opportunities. All of us have been able to pursue our dreams, get good professions, and are able to take care of ourselves and our families. So that for me is empowerment. And it's something that I would love for other people, most especially for women, because I know it's still a gender that is very stigmatized when it comes to pursuing higher education. And I know the power it has. So being educated for me is being empowered. And if I can do that for other people, that would be so great, which is why I'm in edtech. And edtech is the combination of education and technology. We are in a world full of different technology advancements right now. And one of the industries that is heavily impacted by that is education. So we are trying to use and build as many technologies as we can to increase access to education to as many people as possible. And I love to do it and wake up every morning knowing that I'm doing that.
You know, when I hear the word empowerment, it just brings back my mother to mind, because she also was so passionate that the girl child, the woman, is empowered through education, through business, making sure that you have something in your pocket that can be brought back to the home and ensure that the home is fed, the children go to school. So I truly appreciate that. The woman being empowered. I know some people might be saying, oh, why always the woman, the woman? But you're just like, when you go to the grassroots in Africa, there's still so many people who don't have access to opportunities, don't have access to education. So there's still a long way to go. So it's just one person at a time. And for those of us who have been able to enter different spaces is to ensure that others can have access. So what are your hopes for the African space and for the educational space?
Yeah, and this is a big one. I dream of a day where every person has equal access to quality education, because I think there's education and there's quality education. And quality education is really what takes you so far. And my hope and dream is for as many people on continent to have access to the quality education, the kind of education that I've had that has sharpened my my skills, my interpersonal skills, my my intellectual skills, my ability to work in different environments, the kind of education that gets you to dream and not to succumb to what, I have to bring this out correctly. You know, the kind of education that challenges you. Because I know that a lot of, at least the interactions that I've had with people, friends, they've had education, but it's a kind of education that takes them back. It's like there's nothing that happened to you in terms of mindset shift. You are doing computer science, but you've never had an interaction with a computer. You're doing software development, but you've not developed any apps or anything. So the kind of education that doesn't change anything about you except for the documentation that you have, that's not what I want. I want the kind of education that is changing mindsets, changing behaviors, changing the way we live, and challenging the status quo. That's the kind of education that I dream that people will have. And the kind of education that sharpens intellectual capabilities. Because at the end of the day, we have great ideas. We are humans, we are creative people. But until those creativity juices and creativity skills you have within you are challenged to come out, they are never going to. I mean, and it's the kind of education you receive that challenges you to think outside the box, to challenge the status quo, to question things. Why are the roads the way they are? Somebody needs to change that. So the kind of education that empowers us to really do the right thing, ask the right questions, be curious, and really changes our lives completely. Because at the end of the day, that's the goal, is for us to make sure that whatever education we're getting, it's changing us for the better. And if that happens, I'll be the happiest person, especially for the girl child and for women empowerment. And because like you said, there's so much that needs to change back home. I mean, I think about where I come from and I see, literally visually see, women whose lives have been stagnated because they had a child, because they went into the wrong marriages, because they partnered up with the wrong person, and violence is the answer to, like, is the daily bread. And that takes a lot of mindset change to bring that person out of whatever circumstances they are in. So if you're able to educate women specifically to be empowered and be independent of whoever they are choosing to be with, then I'll be a happy person. That's the dream. That's the dream.
And may that dream come to pass, because indeed, you look at some people and you're like, you have so many gifts within you, but you don't have the tools to bring them out and harness them. And as you said, it's because they don't have access to quality education. So we're going to switch gears a little bit and play a game, this or that.
Okay.
So the first one is summer or winter?
Summer, any day, please. I want some sun.
But not winter, because there's Arizona is hot.
I know it's hot, but I love to wake up and open the window and it's shining bright outside, and I can get out for 5 seconds and feel some warmth on my skin. In winter, that's not the case. It's gray and dark. No, please.
The next one is rain or snow?
Rain. I love the sound of rain. Well, not bad rain, because let's be very clear.
What do you mean bad rain? What's bad rain?
There's heavy rains that kill people and flood whatever places.
Yes.
I love the sound of rain. It's just soothing. It's one of those things that even when I feel like I'm stressed out and it's not raining, I'll go on YouTube and just hear the sound of rain, and it just soothes my soul. So I love the sound of rain.
Nice. Weekends or weekdays?
Let's be serious.
Yes, yes. Yeah. There's some people who like either or. Tell us.
Oh, weekends, please. Excuse
Yeah.
me, I'm resting. Yeah, I love me a good chill day. Yeah, just to rest. So weekend.
Oh my. Ice cream or cake?
Ice cream or cake. Depends what cake. But I'll say ice cream, especially considering where I live. It's very much needed. Yeah, ice cream.
Okay. Text or call?
Call. I love to talk. I love to hear your sound and hear your reactions to things.
Yes.
In text, I can't get that.
That's true. Movies or TV shows?
TV shows, please.
And which one are you currently binge watching or enjoying?
Oh my God, you will never believe it. I'm currently watching Prison Break.
Oh my goodness. Oh
Yeah,
my
it's been
goodness.
years. It's been years of this show, and literally I'm just catching up. I'm like, how come I've not watched this? It's so fun. It's so
It was a
cool.
good show when it came out. Yeah. Good
Yeah,
show.
I
It
missed
was.
it. So I'm now catching up.
Nice. To give or to receive?
To give any day. Younger me really wanted to receive a lot of times, but now I'm really finding joy in just giving.
Nice. Love or money?
Love, please. Well,
you can clarify, please. Feel free to clarify. Well, love, money.
Love or money?
Yeah.
That's a very difficult question. But I think from where I stand now, I mean, it's love with a bit of money. Come on, I mean, I don't want us to sleep hungry, so love conquers all, but let's be
realistic. Yeah. My mother used to say, love does not pay bills, Movoni. You've heard
No,
that?
it does
not
not
pay bills.
No, it doesn't. Yeah.
Oh, so
Well,
that
that's
has stuck with me. Oh dear.
Yeah.
So as we wind down this conversation, is there anything else that you want to share to that individual who's going through a transition, or they find themselves, they've transitioned, but they just feel like, I'm lost, I don't know what next?
Yeah. I think I would say to these people that transitions are tough, and transitions is change. Because you're either moving from one stage of life to another, from one situation to another, and that is usually uncomfortable, usually uncertain, and it usually comes with so many challenges in trying to navigate the whole process. But I would say that's where growth is. You highlighted that in our conversation. That's where growth is. And again, a lot of growth doesn't come easily. Sometimes I wish it was as simple as ABC,
right?
But it's not the case. I was literally having a conversation with a friend just yesterday about a season of her life that she's navigating that was really tough. But it's later on that she's out of it, that she's realizing I actually grew from that. I learned something from that. And that's the mindset that I want us all to have, that whatever transition it is, it may be tough in the moment, but growth is happening and you don't even realize that it is happening. And a lot of times transitions, you don't have to do it alone. I'm really learning to rely on people, to rely on friends, to rely on community that I have around me to navigate these transitions, because by yourself, you are literally dead. You are stuck somewhere in a dark corner crying and whining about something not going right. But hashing it out with somebody and having a conversation, even unrelated to whatever the situation is, brings light to your soul, brings light to the table, and you feel alive again. And it just gives you perspective. So whatever transitions you're going through, don't go through them alone. Hang tight to your community, your friends, your family, those around you that you know support and will be there for you no matter what. Rely on those people. And really remember that it's only a season.
Yes.
In a matter of time, it's going to change. You're not going to be where you are now. 5 years down the line, you're going to be in a very different situation. And I'm actually learning that transitions never end. They are continuous. You go through one thing and then something else comes up. You go through that and you think you're successful, something else comes up. So it's going to be a continuous cycle of different things coming up, but learning how to navigate those is much easier to maneuver than being scared or just feeling challenged in the process. Just know that it's gonna come to an end at some point.
I like it. Angela, I want to appreciate you. Thank you so much for coming on to the show.
Thank you for having me. I really had a wonderful time with you.
Awesome. So whoever is listening, I hope you've picked something from this conversation. Life is a cycle of different seasons. And I know sometimes we want our seasons to be constant, the good ones to remain, but we don't grow like that. We always grow through change. So until the next episode, continue being brave.